want to know about living in Orion. What the crew eats, how the crew sleeps, how to fly the vehicle, or how free time is spent. Another great question.
Yes, I'm excited to see what they say.
Yeah, so head to NASA's Instagram or Twitch accounts to vote, and we'll share the results as soon as possible.
Something before they actually board the. Okay. Oh, all right. You guys can hear me. I'm trying to get some clarification here. Alex Capriello has been covering this all day for us. So, Alex, the crew is not actually on the rocket right now. This is kind of like a
That's right.
Pre-game before they actually will get onto the rocket.
And pre-game is a good word for it, and in fact, that pre-game stretches well beyond what we're seeing right now. They've been preparing and have been essentially isolated for several weeks now. The goal there, of course, to make sure that not only are they ready, but their bodies are physically able to be up in space for 10 days, essentially a quarantine, where you can make sure that these astronauts aren't contaminated from any sort of bugs or illnesses or any of the yucky stuff that we're all facing. And so they go through that quarantine, they go through all their protocols and plans. In the meantime, all the people behind the scenes at NASA are taking a look, a double check, and then a triple check of all their systems to make sure that the rocket is ready, to make sure that their equipment is ready, their suits, and every single thing that's going to keep them safe in space for the next 10 days. But right now, yes, they're getting their suits on, they're doing their last-minute checks. At the same time, the rocket is being fueled up, the batteries are being charged up. We have the timer right there to launch on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, 3 hours and 58 minutes. Of course, that could fluctuate depending on if there are any sort of changes in the weather or if during these last-minute checks and balances they find something that needs more time. So we're told that the very earliest that this launch could happen, 6:28 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, it could go longer. We hope not, because as of right now, we're being told that the weather looks clear. It's about an 80% or so last check go rate. They're looking to make sure that there's no real thick cumulus clouds that might, add a level of difficulty or troubles to the launch. But eventually, after these suits are checked, then yes, we should be able to see within this live stream the astronauts heading towards the rocket, climbing all the way to the very tip top of it. As you can see on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, although it's a little small, that is the rocket, 32 stories tall, about the size of the Statue of Liberty. And the actual astronauts, their seating is at the very top of it, the needle, so to speak. That's where the capsule is, where their seats are, and the control room, so to speak. And then eventually, that is what the small piece, that's the piece of the rocket that will actually orbit the lunar surface and ultimately be heading back towards Earth for that eventual splash.
Very cool. Yeah, this was all supposed to happen back in February, but it had to be delayed due to mechanical issues. So really crossing our fingers that all goes well, and this does happen in just under 4 hours. All right, Alex Capriello with the wrap up there. We will continue to monitor this. But still to come here on News Nation Live, President